Hello and welcome to day 3 here at IPC Apex Expo. Last day of the show. We've had a couple of really busy days. Yesterday, the show floor was quite active all day, and lots of parties, of course, last night. So it's been a fun show. My first guest today is Ryan Gamble from Intraratio. So nice to see you again, Ryan. Thank you for coming in.
Likewise, always a pleasure. Yeah, I love the insightful questions, the great topics you bring up and talk about. Thank you.
Right. So just to sort of recap on the Intraratio platform, I mean, you 3 segments. There's 3 different components, as I recall, or was it 4, in the actual basic software?
Yeah, so the whole MES layer, and then we have the whole IoT backbone. My shameless plug, we've been IoT before it was even a buzzword. And then we have the data interchange layer to pull data, push data, automate reporting back and forth through accounting systems, your suppliers.
Right.
You know, this can be as complex as TSMC, as small as GDSI, other little suppliers, and then pushing it and pulling it from ERP systems like Oracle, SAP.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's fair to say you did a lot of work in the semiconductor business, really, before you moved into the SMT side of the industry.
Very much.
Yeah, so let's take a look at what's new. I believe you've got some sort of AI offering that you've recently launched. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we finally started to market it. It's been in kind of stealth mode for a year. It's called AI Card. This product was meant to actually be accessible and usable immediately in terms to drive automated outlier detection across the entire line. So this can be from wafer level to chip all the way SMT through to box build final assembly.
Right. So it's looking at outliers. It's alerting the operators, and it's giving them presumably a list of potential things that might be causing that defect or that outlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, minor detail. Outliers can be somebody swapped out a reel for the last 20 boards of a 1,000 board run. You want to know that happened. You're generating 100,000 modules a day on some of the lines we're deployed on, SMT. That's just a tsunami of data. You just do not have the insights to see that. The only time you start to understand that is when you have an RMA or a failure come in the line or something downstream.
Right.
So at every step from printer, mounter, AOI, AXI, oven, everything test, outlier detection, these are not necessarily failures. These are just things that have shifted in the manufacturing line.
Right.
And then you now have outlier detection that correlate to actual scrap, but you also now have these outliers that aren't scrap that are now moving down your line. And so that's insightful to catch failures before they happen.
So how sensitive can you make that detection? I mean...
Yeah, pretty sensitive. So the key thing is to get rid of the data science overhead within, right? Factory plants do not have the bandwidth or the budget to throw, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions actually, at data science. So what we've done is made it accessible. You can set a trigger level, say, hey, a 10% of production move through this step, or 1%, or maybe the first board, run outlier detection on it, and your sensitivity from a data science perspective, it's called the contamination coefficient, but we call it the sensitivity, 0 to 5%. Now that's going to amplify outliers, depending on how you make it. So you as the engineer have the control based on the correlation to actual scrap, the correlation to actual things. 0 IT overhead, 0 data science required. We just deploy. It's unsupervised learning models, which means you don't have to run training on it.
Right.
We can do the training as well, specialized cases, but yeah, so it's basically the sensitivity in that level.
So it's a bit like doing inspection, except you're trying to limit the false calls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's great. So you've also had a pretty successful year in the last 12 months. You've added some new customers. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we keep getting pushed into some interesting product lines. One of them is optical coupling technologies that are now for coupling onto devices, onto chips for high-speed communications. So that's with Senko out of Japan International. So here in the West Coast, formidable technology line that's now also being ported overseas. Over into Asia, which is great for some high volume over in Taiwan. Lots of little significant wins like that, and we love when our customers are really pushing our technology.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
You really learn a lot.
Yeah, you learn a lot, and you test. But I mean, you must be fairly versatile to be able to adapt to any given situation.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great way to put it. I'd love to hire you for sales on my side. Yeah, exactly. We have a plug-and-play platform. Any protocol, any data format, any machine. If there's a bit coming off that machine, landing on the network or a file folder, any type of API, we can plug and play and connect to it in a matter of just hours. So we don't have to re-architect our back end. And I think that's the thing that shifted this. Coming out of silicon photonics, some of the more complex packaging, most complex process tracking, we had to deal with new machines that weren't following necessary protocols and standards, and how do you adapt to that? And so that just allowed us to really leap and move faster through SMT than most other solutions.
Okay, so what's coming next?
Great question. On the product roadmap, so we have data warehousing as well. The tsunami of data when you're collecting everything off a machine. I mean, this is massive. Our platforms are very scalable. The example, Cisco systems on a number of their complex product lines, we still have the original databases from 9 years ago.
Really?
And these things are monsters. They're multi-terabyte. But so now dealing with the data warehousing, offloading that, again, automated, removing the IT bottlenecks, making this really seamless on deployment. So there's almost zero overhead cost other than just the license of the solution, deploy, and go. And that will open up more business intelligence expansion for our end customers as well. So.
Yeah. I mean, you and I had differing views, as I recall, on the Cisco mantra of collecting all the data and putting it in a warehouse. You like to keep it more contextualized and siloed, as it were.
Yeah, let's keep it real. It doesn't need to be a fishing expedition.
Right.
I think that's the thing that makes our Intraratio so formidable in this market. Right now, we're the only company in the world that can service the complexity of silicon photonics.
Yeah.
Within factory as well as global supply chain. But because the data is hyper contextualized. You remember well. Thank you. I hate the word data lake. Sorry, I'm not swimming. Okay. I'm solving things.
Okay. Well, it looks like you're doing a good job of it. So congratulations once again, and thank you for coming in and telling us about it today.
My pleasure. Yeah. Thanks for the platform. Thanks for the messaging. Yeah. Always great to connect with you. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Imagine the competitive advantages of producing high mix and high volume PCB assembly on a single SMT line, running non-stop even during changeovers. It's available now from the only maker in the world providing mixed production SMT line solutions complete with full dual printing, SPI, pick and place, reflow, AOI and board handling machinery for different product dual lane processing in the smallest footprint possible. Make more PCB assemblies with less time, less space, less investment.